Hey, it's Melissa with Sincerely Creative Mom. We're going to make a tulip wreath today. We're going to use this really cool greenery bush that I got that has lots of greenery. We're going to need it. We're going to cut it apart. And then the tulips, of course, came from Michael's. Now these are from last year actually. I got them at the end of the season, but they have little leaves here, little kind of spiky leaves, and usually there's 2 or 3 tulips on each. Now I've pre-done all of this. We're going to do one together. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and push them up. I'm going to do 4 to a bundle. 4 to a bundle. So I'm going to push those up all the way. 4 to a bundle. Okay. And then I'm going to cut them off. I need them to be long but not too long. So once I cut them here, I'll tell you how long. So I'm leaving about an inch or so. So from the part where I pushed all the way up, that is about 1, 2, 3, maybe 3.5 inches. I don't need them that long, but it's easier to maneuver and use if I am using them that long. Okay, so I need about that many. Set these aside. And then I'm going to take this greenery piece, and all I'm going to do is cut this off. And this is way too long, so we're going to cut them in halves. So now I have this half. So I'm going to take all of our pieces. I'm going to put them all together nice and neat so they're bunched nicely. I'm going to take this little piece of greenery right behind us. You can mix them around, put it behind you, put it in the side, put it in the middle, all that stuff. You can just keep maneuvering that, moving it around. Take my zip tie right around here, nice and tight. Now my hands are pretty bad carpal tunnel, so I use this little tool and just snip it off, and then there's my bundle. So we're going to make a whole bunch of those, and well, I've already done that. We're going to make a whole bunch of those. Now you're going to need, and I'm so sorry that I can't give you an exact number, but you're going to need 8 to 10 of these if you're doing all one color. 8 to 10. And I'll tell you why. Sometimes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sometimes there's 8 stems on the bush. Sometimes there's even 6. I don't know why it varies. I don't know why, but it does. That's number 1. Number 2, you could be missing some blooms. So in turn, you end up with less, because I try to take, if I'm missing one here, and if I'm missing one here, I try to, start making full pieces rather than, have a bunch of partials. So between 8 to 10 bushes you're going to need. Now, you're going to need some pipe cleaners. I used my zip ties already to do the bundles to make it go a little quicker. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this 2.5 inch ribbon here. It's about 11 feet long. It's about 11 feet long. So I'm just going to grab the ribbon, and this is just I think from Michael's. I'm just going to grab the ribbon and start cuffing. I'm just going to cuff it here, just like that. And I'm going to make sure I'm pulling tight. So this does take a little bit of practice. Don't get frustrated. I'm just going to take a little bit of kind of pull here, nice and tight, so it stays nice and neat as I go along. And I'm just going to wrap that whole thing all the way around. Now I actually wrapped it and then unwrapped it so I could see how much ribbon I needed, so I could tell you. So you need about 11 feet. About 11 feet. And then I'm just doing it on an angle, making sure I'm pulling it nice and tight. Now you can wrap this with any color. You're not going to really see it. It is just to, cover the base. We are using our Pancake Wreath frame that I used to make all sorts of wreaths on, but this time we're just going to use it as a nice solid foundation, a nice hard sturdy foundation for all of our tulips to lay. So I don't want to really see the wood. I'm not going to see the ribbon per se, but I'd rather see the ribbon if I'm going to see it versus the actual frame. So I'm just going to keep going around here. I'm just going kind of on an angle, making sure I'm wrapping that whole frame all the way. And then to keep this a no glue design, I'm actually going to use my pipe cleaner. So I just went around, that's where I started. So I'm going to keep going just a couple more here. And I'm going to cut it off right here. So I guess I didn't need 11 this time. Now, in order to keep it a no glue design, no glue, that's what I set out to do. Keep that nice and tight. I'm going to take my pipe cleaner and I'm going to wrap it around nice and tight right here. No glue. Actually, I'm going to do one right here on this side. Nice and tight. And then I'm going to do one on the other side. Now, if you feel like you want to add a little bit of glue just for safekeeping and for peace of mind, you can totally do that. Okay. Then from here, I'm going to start adding those bundles. Now, you might think, oh, just add all your pipe cleaners ahead of time. I try not to do that just because it might fluctuate as far as how far I put these in. How, you know, it just might fluctuate a little bit. So I know it can go a little bit slower that way, but I think in the end, it's just going to really give it a nice look if I'm not tied to exactly every so many inches. So we're just going to start off by adding in our very first piece here, and I'm going to try to make sure I'm adding that, or I'm tying that pipe cleaner above my zip tie here. So above the zip tie, I'm trying to make sure I put that piece in so that it's just going to have a little extra piece to not help it not slip out, right? Not help it not slip out. I'm not even going to bother cutting these off. I'm just going to make sure it kind of goes down in the flow of things and into the next piece. Okay, into the next piece. So that's one bundle. And then we're just going to take those and just keep adding. Okay, just keep adding. Now let's see if that works out. It doesn't work out, and I'm okay with that. It's just going to work. It's just going to be a little bit lower. I'm just going to tighten that and kind of see where I'm going to go. So pre-doing these just makes you, sometimes you just got to just move them around and maneuver them a little bit. That's all right. So I'm just going to, it was just a little bit. So now I know where it needs to go, and I'm just going to add it in. Now the one thing though, I found that it does help and it does matter if I have my pipe cleaner tied first. So it's nice and tight, tied, and then add the piece in. It does seem to make a difference here. And the overall kind of sturdiness, I don't know if that's the word you want to use, but the sturdiness of it. And then I do like to keep those long so that that piece, those stems, can go in the next piece, right? They can go in the next little thing here, okay? So I got my spot. I'm going to take my pipe cleaner now. I used a burlap ribbon, and I'm using burlap pipe cleaners just so that the back sort of looks mostly clean, right? I want it to be as clean as possible, as clean looking as possible. And so they're not, you know, using black pipe cleaners or, you know, something that's like, you know, really out of the norm. And I'm just kind of moving those around. Let's see if I can get you in a little bit closer here since I'm working so close. There you go. Oh, no, I don't need that inside. Now, I'm not sure how many bundles I did. Just want to make sure. 1, 2, 1. Okay, so we got that one that was not. I don't know if you're not even live with me, so I can't even have you got one that was not. So I got to remember that. Then we're just going to add here our pipe cleaner. Keep going around. So again, just crisscross, twist, twist, nice and tight as you can. Now you see how that greenery is just poking through all the way around? When I'm all done, if I need to add that greenery, or not add, but if I need to move it so that it kind of is in place where I want it to be, I can always do that. So I'm just moving these around. Y'all, if you hear snipping in the background, it's just I have someone here helping me cut more and prepare more tulips. So I'm just going to keep going. Now I'm smushing them kind of together. I don't want there to be any gaps, not any visual gaps on purpose. So I'm kind of smushing them together on purpose, getting them all nice in there, nice and tight. I might put some of that greenery on the top. And just all around, making it look, I mean, I don't want to say natural, but making it look natural, you know. A little, oopsie. There we go. So we're just going to keep going all the way around. I know it's kind of boring, but it's what we do. It looks good when it's all done. So we're going to keep doing it. Just making sure, again, that I'm going above that zip tie there, so I'm making sure it doesn't, it's giving it one extra thing to not slip, right, to not slip out. There we go. Hopefully you were keeping count, because I have not started keeping count yet. So let's put this right in here. Add it right in. Again, nice and tight. I'm not cutting these. I will make sure in the end that they're not, you know, sticking out for sure. I should do that as I go along. And I see now, like, just checking, just looking. I'm looking, all that greenery is kind of off to this side. I want to make sure that I don't go too far without it being spread around. So I'm just going to kind of just make sure that it gets around where it needs to be. Kind of curve those in. There we go. Perfect. Now, I'm trying my hardest to not use glue, and that's the whole point. I don't want to use glue. So, in the end, if I'm like, I really could use another one, you know, right here or what, you know, whatever the case is, I can always add. I could, if I needed to, always glue in. There's so many stems in here that are you know, there's just so many stems. There's so many spots to use glue if I need it. So I could use glue. It's really nice. Nicely coming along. Now I went with this color specifically just because, number one, I had the most of this, so I knew I could do my trial and my demo, and then also record a recording for you, and so I'd have enough with all the same color. That's number one. And number two, I got them at the end of the year, so it was fairly inexpensive. As you can see, inexpensive or not, it still is time consuming. You know, I created these bushes all ahead of time, so that saves a lot of time here with the video. But nonetheless, I still had to spend the time myself to do that. So it was still, you know, longer than what we're going to see here on this video. I'm going to keep the bow off this time. I'm just going to do the florals. It's just springy look. Not everybody loves the bow, although, you know me, I always say bows sell wreaths, and that's true. We're going to leave the bow off this time. There we go. This is turning out really nice. Okay, almost done even. Again, there's a lot of time spent behind the scenes preparing those tulips, but once you have them prepared and they're ready. And these you know, I don't know if you follow me, you know that I'm one to make some bundles and to prep a little ahead of time. It just makes everything go so easier. Number one, the long run it goes, the putting it together goes easier. But also, you know, it's just a more simple design. You know, it's just a simple, more simple design. You're putting things together and kind of doing that part of your design ahead of time, and, you know, allowing your creativity to be real simple and real structured, and therefore sometimes even it makes it more budget friendly if you can follow that recipe that you've then just created. This is so pretty. Now, if I get to the point where I am like, there's a little gap here, and I can't put in another bundle, then yeah, I might add a bow. I don't have ribbon next to me for a bow, but I could. Oh no, we're going to need one more. That'll be perfect. Okay. I'm going to put that on this side. See my greenery kind of on that side, so I'm going to put them on this side. I'm going to put this kind of under here. Let's see where it's going to go. Right here. Almost done. I really feel like I'm cheating you because it did take a long time ahead of time, behind the scenes to create this. So you're not really getting a feel for how long it's really going to take you. But once you have all your pieces ready, you are getting a feel for how long it's going to take to actually put it together. And it's really, really cute. I got one more bundle and I need one more pipe cleaner. One short. Hold on. There we go. So we're going to put our last piece in. Snuggle it right in. Perfect. Right there. So we're going to put our last piece in. Now again, you're probably thinking, well, why didn't I just put this in already? You know, when I put that first layer in, just because I really do want to make sure I'm keeping everything down. This one, though, I am going to trim, just because it'll be a little bit easier once it's in. And so I'm going to trim that. I'm sorry, a little easier to get it in. I'll kind of lift here. Get those to go in. Slide it in. There we go. And then you have yourself a beautiful, very full, nice and sturdy tulip wreath. Y'all, I hope that you enjoyed and you are subscribed to our channel so that you are following us. This is definitely, it's a new recipe for me this year, but it is a design that I have sold many, many times over. So I continue to make them and continue to invest in the tulips every year. Very popular, very springy, very fresh. Just a really classy design. I'm just moving, oopsie, just pop that one off. Just a really classy design. And I'm just trying to make sure I'm moving these before I get it on the camera and I'm looking ahead. But what's really nice about this is the foundation, that pancake frame that we used. See the back looks nice and clean, all blended in there with the, let me move you out here a little bit, all nice and blended in with that, the ribbon. And see from the top, you can't see that, you can't, but in the event, you know, you kind of get a glimpse of it, especially when you're opening and closing the door. You can still see that the ribbon versus the just the bare frame. So really nice. I love this so much. Now you can add a bow. You can totally add a bow. In fact, I just sold one exact same color with a bow. I love the tones on this, and I love how it did it automatically with the tulips, with the lighter orange and the reds and the kind of corally, really pretty combo. Now, the SKUs to these, all the stuff I use will be in the description of this video. Again, I hope you are subscribed and watching, and I can't wait to see you soon. If you are looking for notices when we have new tutorials out, don't forget to join our email list. Just go to don'tmissemails.com. Don'tmissemails.com. No apostrophe in the don't. www.don'tmissemails.com. It'll be in the description. And sign up for our emails. That for when we have new tutorials such as this, you will get a notification. Y'all, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you very much, and I will see you again soon. Bye, y'all.